Wait, did they
And
sponsor flights too? Like every single thing was sponsored?
they will sponsor your transcript, your passport if you don't have any.
I really can't believe I'm like this on camera, but hello my friends, you're welcome to today's video. Thank you so much for clicking. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, don't worry, no pressure, give it a try, you know, watch my video and see for yourself. I hope you'll be convinced to subscribe. So guys, I know it's been a while, and I just quickly wanted to come here and share this video with y'all. Our guest for today is Samuel Arawu. I brought a celebrity to this channel, all thanks to a subscriber called Chidima Nwa. Thank you so much for recommending Samuel Arawu to me. So I checked him out, and you know, on Twitter, and we got talking, and somehow now we're here. So thank you so much guys. Please show him some love. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Can you imagine coming abroad? Your ticket, everything is taken care of. You don't have to
pay any single money. Like, you don't have to pay anything. So please watch his story. Don't mind my grandma appearance today. I've been so busy. Well, that's not why we're here. Oya, get right into the video.
I want to use this time to say thank you to Samuel Arawu. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate you. Chukuma, Chukugozegi.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much for coming to
Thank you.
this episode. I'm really glad. And please, before we start, can you go ahead and tell us, who are you?
Okay, so my name is Arawu Samuel Chukuma, and in full, but I prefer to call me Sam or Arawu. If you call me Chukuma, I don't know what I really would remember that. I'm from somewhere in Anambra, here, local government area.
Yeah.
Yes. That's my LG.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm from Amoka, but I don't think anybody knows that. But Amoka is a neighboring village to Uli or Umbudi. So if you're from Anambra, if you know Umbudi or Uli, Anambra is in the middle, and Amoka is in the middle. So yes, what I attended the primary school in Oshodi, Lagos, and then I transited to attend a university in a way, like Federal University of Technology, way in Futu, and then I won the Mastercard scholarship. But before then, I was sent to the north, South Nigeria, which I didn't like. But of course, I went, you know, just to show that I'm a patriotic Nigerian. And then, so like my friends would say, from Kano to Canada. So I left Kano, and then I went to university. And you know, pretty much.
Yay! From Kano to Canada. Thank you so much. That was nice. At least getting to know a little bit about you. I think the only thing that I know about you is your name is Samuel. I used to say Arawu, and I saw a video that you posted, and someone would say Arawu. I don't know.
So, well, I really don't know how to pronounce it properly, but I think friends call me Arawu, whatever you call it. I know the name, so I just take it like that.
Okay. So, and I think another thing, when my subscriber told me about you, that you have a motivating story, that you be a great guest and whatnot. So the only thing, at least from your profile, I just figured out that you won the Mastercard scholarship. So probably I'm just gonna start by asking you, what is the Mastercard? I don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce it. So what is that?
So the Mastercard Foundation is a group of people that fund higher education in certain parts of the world. So they fund education in Africa, some part of North America, some part of Europe. So the Mastercard Foundation has scholarships in schools like Science Pro in France, schools like UBC, of course, McGill's, Arizona, you know, University of California, Berkeley. So they have a number, like a lot of schools really that, you know, that they sponsor. So in my case, I won the Mastercard scholarship at UBC, and UBC is called University of British Columbia. So the Mastercard scholarship is a scholarship that covers essentially everything you need for grad studies, including your phone, food, flight, accommodation, and like every other thing you might need, basically. So that's it.
Okay, so the good part for me, or what I'm kind of like, what I'm interested in is, how did you get the scholarship? How did you hear about it? And, basically,
Oh,
just if you can give us the process, like.
so yeah, so sometime in 2016, I met an alumni who came to my school, and he won at the time the Commonwealth Scholarship. So he was going to Glasgow for his masters, and I knew he had a first class from my department. So I was like, "Oga, Alpha now, what's up? I say you got abroad, how?" Because I knew that then I used to drink Gary in his hostel, used to drink Gary, and I don't know if you know Oppa, but if you're from the east, you know they call Oppa. So we used to
Yeah, I know Okpa now. I know.
yeah, so we used to do Gary and Oppa at the time.
Okpa
And I
is
was like,
rich people's food, though.
so I was like, this guy is eating. How did he go to UK? Don't go how far now. So it's like, I went on scholarship. I'm like, what scholarship? Commonwealth. I'm like, okay. So we kept in touch, and then he went to to Glasgow, and then in 2017, he told me that he was in UBC doing his PhD. I was like, wow, what is UBC? And he told me Google it. So I googled, I saw UBC and all that. And like 2 months later, he sent me a link for the Mastercard scholarship. So this is answering how I heard about it. So I was told about it by a senior colleague who was in at the time. But the thing that struck me was that the scholarship at the time did not carry biochemistry. So my first degree was in biochemistry, and then I saw like food science courses like public health. I was wondering, like, public health is not biochemistry, food science is not biochemistry. And he told me, and this thing is peculiar, he told me that if you're looking for biochemistry, you might study biochemistry as a secondary school teacher in Lagos. So look out for courses that are similar to your undergraduate background. I'm like, okay, food science is the closest one. And public health was also the closest one, but I felt I didn't want to do GRE because they required like some less level of GRE. And that time I was in Canada. I was 7. I didn't have the money to do GRE. At the time, they were paying me like 19K. And if you cannot cook, if you cannot cook very well, if you pay you 19K, you use like half of the thing to support one sister that helps you to cook technically. So at the time I couldn't save a lot of money. So I decided to opt for food science. Now the process was basically send an email to Mastercard saying that you want to apply for the scholarship. They'll ask you what courses you're interested in. For UBC particularly, they'll give you an eligibility form. So that eligibility form, you fill the form, I think write a little essay and then send your CV and your transcript, and then the Mastercard was to check if you're eligible to apply. Sorry. Now, if you're eligible to apply, they will then ask you to apply, and then they will pay your application fee to apply.
Wow.
So you apply for Mastercard in a separate form, and then you go ahead at the same time simultaneously apply to the Department of Commerce. Of course, on the Mastercard form, you will state the department that you're applying to, because that department would have to review your application, and the department will nominate 5 top candidates. So that's the first process. So this is an updated process anyway. So I'll be saying the process that was available last year, because my process had something was not done in my process, but last year there was an update on the process. So this video or this interview covers the updated Mastercard process for
Thank
you.
you.
So after the department nominates 5 top candidates, then Mastercard send those candidates an email asking them for a video interview like this. So if you're listening to me, video interviews are becoming the trend for scholarship applications, especially for things like Gates Scholarship, Mastercard UBC, like Hennessy. Some top scholarships now are going to leverage on video interviews because they need to understand that. They need to know and verify that as a scholar, you're fluent, you can speak with some level of confidence, you know what you want to deliver. Of course, the scholarships are training scholars to become future leaders of Africa. And no future leader would not be, every future leader should be vocal. So you should be able to say what you want, say what you intend to achieve, in terms of change. Because until people get to know what you want to do, they will not know what you can do. So technically, so Mastercard, then reviews the video interview, and then decide who. So while they review the video interview, they also review like your Mastercard essays, all of the documents that you send to Mastercard. Now remember that you might be a good candidate for Mastercard, but if the department does not consider you as a good candidate, you will not even get to that Mastercard stage. So technically, when you want to apply for Mastercard, your first point of call should be, how do you navigate the department level? what are the things that are required? And I advise candidates to do a few things, very simple things. Go to the Mastercard website and check the scholars of the department of your interest. See what their profile is, see what they had, reach out to them on LinkedIn, reach out to them on Twitter. Of course, I'm available on Twitter, I'm available on LinkedIn and on Facebook, maybe WhatsApp, but for people that are my, for five,
G.
you know, so but yeah, but you know, so try and reach out to them, see what their profile is, ask them questions like, what do you think made you a good candidate? What do you think was instrumental to your success? At the same time, when you do that, at the same time, bring the Mastercard goal in place to understand how the Mastercard scholarships reflect on their goals. So basically, Mastercard wants to train like academically smart guys, but that are academically disadvantaged. So people like me that didn't have money, Mastercard knew that I was a good candidate for them. Not because I was poor, but because I was academically smart and I was reasonable. Like I contributed a lot, like to community service. I volunteered. My intention wasn't just to go to school and graduate. My intention was to go to school, graduate, and impact lives, especially lives that cannot pay me back. So like Mastercard has done me a favor. They give me a scholarship. I can't pay them back, right? I can only pay back Africa, you know, technically. So that's basically the process. So after the video, then the shortlist two top candidates, and they will give you a call. So one of the signs that you want Mastercard scholarship is if you get a call from your dean. So whatever department that you're applying to, you get a call from your dean. Then after the call, you get an email, and then they start giving you money. You know, they start giving you texts, and then just
Wow.
you know, and then you fly, maybe Air France, you know, and then go to Canada, basically.
Hell. It's doing me as if I should start this process and get this free sponsorship like this. Wait, did they sponsor flight too? Like every single thing was sponsored?
So they sponsored, so even from Nigeria, they will sponsor your transcript, your passport if you don't have any. All our medical bills. In fact, if you enter Uber, if you go to school for your transcripts, if you take a flight, whatever you do as a Mastercard scholar, once you've been awarded, once you've been given the letter of offer, can be sponsored, can be paid for. You know, even in the scholarship, things like my US visa was paid for, ISS was paid for. They can pay for a lot of things, trust me. Like Mastercard is like holistic.
Where I don't know for this things. Where was I? And I was hustling like this, eh?
You were coding.
Well, it's not bad. But hey, since this one was not even part of the questions I had for you, but this what you just said just led me to this one now. What made you like stand out? I know you kind of said it partially, but like what made you doubt?
So I don't know. I think I leverage on a few things, and I'm saying this I leverage on a few things. I leverage on the fact that at the time I was really doing a lot. Like I was so in my CDS, I was the vice president. I was working in it's called NDLU. At that time, it's a drug group. So what I did is I did a lot of some strong collaborations with that CDS group and the faculty where I was serving at the time. So I held conferences, I had seminars, and drastically drug abuse reduced. So in my essay, I demonstrated that I did all those things. But most especially in my reference letters, those referees also demonstrated that the things I said in my essay were somewhat true. Because they said, when I read, because I was privileged, because the Mastercard application deals with it, they use a paper referencing where the referee writes the letter for you and give it to you. So you have to upload by yourself. So I read the both referees and I see that they remember that did they remember? Let me be truthful. I told them that, please remember that I did this thing. I want you to include this thing in the reference. Because I wanted to corroborate what I said on my CV to what the reference is. Because technically, because if I did this with you, you should remember and include it. It will give me a leeway. So I see people doing certain mistakes where you write references for people that do not have any connection to you. They cannot really speak for you. For instance, if you're my friend and I've known you for 2 years, I can say the kind of foods that you like. I can remember the place we went to that we had plenty of fun. If we went to a park and we played and you enjoyed yourself, I can remember that experience. So if I tell you, Aladi, please remember this thing, it comes to your mind ASAP. So what we see candidates do is that candidates send in documents that are contradictory. You send a document that showed you worked in the lab for 2 years. Your referee said you worked in the lab for 4 years. already,
Yes.
actually, so already there's a contrast in information that you're delivering. So most of us have these things. Most of us volunteer. Like now, everybody knows about volunteering. So volunteering game is on top notch. But the accuracy of reporting is something that students will take into consideration. So if you say you graduated in photo 2011 to 2016, and the reference letter that taught you in year 2 said there's no use since 2009, technically,
It doesn't match.
talking gibberish. So I know that there's a lot of information out there about referencing and all that, but my take is the accuracy of reporting should be something that is valid. Also, Mastercard has series of essays, about 5, that you have to answer. Now, my understanding is don't just speak English. Give examples. For instance, if they ask me why do I love Aladi, for instance, I will say I love Aladi because she's beautiful. How did I know? I went out with Aladi. Aladi wasn't on makeup, and yet.
Oh shit!
Hold on. No. These are really practical ways to really.
Yeah, I understand you. Yeah, it is.
Like what these things are. But if they tell you write an essay that shows that you're perseverant, you not say, I'm perseverant now. I'm perseverant. Nobody knows that you're perseverant. How?
You're defining perseverance. We're talking about.
Wow. So what are the things you did? If you have to if you failed the course, for instance, and you have to write the course, with another course, and you still had A's. For instance, those are examples. They are valid examples. They are examples that the reader can relate with. So my essay was something that struck a deal for me. Anyway, in my essay, I was biased, and I was writing. I was a little biased because I was saying, I was thinking the albino. How do I put it now? The Nigerian context of the African context of albinism, where we were deprived of certain things. So I know a couple of people here who start essays from saying, when I was 3 years old, I was slapped. They were calling me Weibo Pepe, Shiku Pepe. They don't understand so I recommend that you find the English name for your particular description. Find something like basically, like when I was 3, I noticed that in the legal system, for instance, that people had difficulties finding lawyers, and I saw bright, intelligent people went to jail because there was nobody to speak for them. I haven't studied law. I feel that it's an obligation for me as a Nigerian to thrive in the legal system so as to help blah blah blah. Then you start saying, so you start something like, for instance, in one of my essays about food sciences, I wrote, in a continent like Africa where there's surplus of food, how then do we have places like Guinea, that there's a high level of malnutrition? Why? Is that supposed to happen? Like the question mark. So already the reader is interested to know what this guy is saying, because of course, Africa, there's so much food, there's so much land, but why is other countries malnourished? So that's how to really strike a deal with your essays. That's how to really, the same way you do midnight course those days. How do you? So the same way you get the person excited, or you bring in so much suspense.
And
your
make
essay
the
should
person
come
curious.
My English is not good as good as yours. So yeah, so that's the word.
Not so. You have made me to forget my next question. So, how long have you been in Canada? When did you arrive? In fact, where are you, Steph? UBC. You said you University of Britain.
So right now, at the moment, I am somewhere in Surrey, British Canada. Somewhere in Surrey. Somewhere around Surrey. So,
yeah.
I came in on the 1st of August 2018. Okay. So I'm roughly 2 years ish.
Okay. So if it's just a regular person now watching my like a prospective student, let me just say, watching my this video right now, and they're kind of, oh, where do I get the link for the Mastercard thing? How do I find the link? How do I start?
So I'm guessing that Aladi there should be, okay, I'm going to send you the link for the Mastercard Foundation, so you can see all of the schools that they sponsor. Okay. If you really know about Mastercard, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow Aladi as well, because she's always around. So if you follow Aladi, you will see me. Technically, if you follow Aladi, she will always retweet whenever I post on Mastercard ish. So best way to do is let's advertise Aladi. Please follow Aladi on Twitter.
And you, please follow me on.
Follow our YouTube, follow everywhere, please.
Okay.
You'll find me.
Okay, so definitely, like, if I understood now, I'll get a link that, like, if, at least to see this, when they look at the description box of this video, they'll see like a link to our Twitter accounts and some. In fact, just check the description box of this video and all the information will be there for you. So, why? I'm sure, like you said, they have other schools. Well, why did you choose UBC in particular?
Did I choose UBC? I didn't choose UBC at the time. UBC was the only Mastercard. Okay, UBC and McGill's were the two I saw. Now my experience in McGill's was I applied for McGill's as well. So McGill's is currently on. If you're watching this video now, McGill's scholarship is currently on. So let me just quickly talk about McGill's very quickly. So if you want McGill's, you can check my tweets. Me and Ahmed, Dr. Ahmed is a McGill scholar. So we made tweets on how to email the departments for nomination. We've dropped tweets on the different departments, their link. So I dropped a link where you can see all the departments in McGill's and their program coordinator. So you see the departments and the email of the program coordinator. Because you need to send an email for nomination to the department of your interest. And then in the email, you send your transcript, your CV, and a 350 word document, essay, as a kind of stating why you should be nominated. Okay. So if you want to see that, you can check our tweets. You'll see all of this information on our tweets. But if you send me a message on Twitter, I could send you the link. Of course, I'll send her the link. So if you check this description box, you can also find the Mastercard scholarship link for McGill's. 2021. So at the time I applied to McGill's, I applied to three departments in McGill's, and then the three departments nominated me, so I applied. So I'm guessing that was a bad thing to do, because the Mastercard UBC staff told me that if you apply for three departments, of course I wrote 3 different essays. So if those 3 different essays get to Mastercard, already I'm looking like a confused candidate, because I will say I like food science because food science does that. Biotech, it does that. So
you can be everything.
Yeah, I can be everything to one person. How? I can be a food scientist. I can be a biologist.
Yeah.
I can be a medical science.
You can be a lawyer.
To one Mastercard.
Don't follow me.
So don't go like she's playing, she's goofing. So it wasn't a good deal at all. So I didn't Mastercard scholarship in McGill's. But in UBC, I don't know what taught me. My mother's prayer convinced me to be straightforward. So I just chose food science, and and that was how I got in. But I got some scholarships in the UK at the time. I got a scholarship in Saudi Arabia. I wanted to go for that one because the money was quite huge. But apologies to anybody who is a Muslim. I'm a Christian at the time, so I felt I couldn't really cope in that environment. Of course, I think a little different now, so I can cope anywhere, because now I know that the faithful practice back in Africa is a little extreme, I think, than what is being practiced here. So of course I can cope anywhere. But I chose Canada because I felt Canada was okay. I think I chose Canada because of the scholarship, because it was fully funded. My parents didn't have money to pay for even keke to UK.
Hey, see video title.
So I didn't bother myself, to find money to, unlike Aladi, who came to the US, she had to pay for a flight. It means that she has money. She has to pay for a flight.
Amen. I receive it. Amen.
Pay for a visa. I don't want to call family medicine and tell them I'm paying for a flight, and then everybody's gonna start doing fast pay for me. So that's why I chose Mastercard, because it was free. And then I just came in.
So I remember the question. This thing sounds so good to be true. What is there any side effects? What do you have to do to pay back? What terms and conditions?
Mastercard is not a drug, so there are no side effects to Mastercard. If Mastercard was a drug, it probably would have been water anyway. But in this case, Mastercard is not a drug. So for the purpose of this video, Mastercard scholarship requires that you go back to your country. I use the word requires and not mandates. So Mastercard scholarship requires I said again, no, requires. So if Mastercard sees me, they will not beat me. They require that you go back to your home country.
Okay.
But Mastercard is generous. They understand that after masters, you need work experience, you need exposure, you need interaction with the international community. So
Yeah.
they don't enforce going back. I finished my masters in 2019, and I'm still in Canada. So the rest you can put one plus one together. I'm applying for PR too, so you can see that I'm not. I'll go back to Africa basically.
And you're giving back. This is part of the giving back. You're doing great on
Yeah,
Twitter and everywhere. You're doing
so yeah, so correct. So for Mastercard scholars, don't be afraid of going back home. If you have to go back home to give back, please go back. But you can give, but you can, of course, if you check the database in Nigeria, it is said that Africans in diaspora remit even more money than what the country generates. So if you're coming through the Mastercard scholarship, do not fret that you have to go back home. Do not fret that they have to bundle you. No, if you want to, that's fine. But if you have, okay, so for instance, in Canada, after studies, if you study for 1 year, you get like a 1 year or a 3 years of permit. So I said all because the normal thing is 1 year. But I have friends who study 1 year and also got 3 years of permit. You know, but if you study for 2 years and above, you get a 3 years work permit. So technically, even if you come as a Mastercard scholar, you get a work permit already. So you can apply for permit. And why would you go when you have a work permit? Nobody can send you out. My Canada told you stay and work, technically.
Hey, Aisha, I'll not come and join from that. I say, hey, please. Another question is because this one is like I've dropped the questions on my phone and I'm just asking them spontaneously as they hot. So is it just for grad school like PhD and masters?
Okay, so Mastercard used to have like in UBC, I know, and McGill's. But I have a friend in UBC. His name is Samuel Olato Yibo Abi. I can't remember the full name, but he got the Mastercard scholarship for undergrad. The same year I got my Mastercard scholarship. I know of a friend as well, Noel Ede. I met him, in one of the Mastercard meetings, where he came to UBC. He also had the Mastercard undergraduate scholarship at McGill's. But currently, I do not think that we have the undergraduate at the moment. So I think we don't have the undergraduate anymore. But currently, I know we have for masters. But for undergraduate, I just remember we have one in Kwame Nkrumah University in Ghana. So I know that that's available for Kwame Nkrumah University in Ghana. Yes, that's available for undergrad. And just so you know, Mastercard does not sponsor PhD. They feel that master level you have enough. Yeah. So at as a master level you have enough theoretical ideas to get to the workforce to make an impact technically. So they do not sponsor PhDs, and PhDs in most developed countries are funded. So
yeah,
I guess they don't think it's necessary.
I wanted to ask, did you apply for other scholarships?
It's like I can't imagine. I can't count the number of scholarships I apply for. People that know me, like TRM, people that know me personally, who know that my name at the time was fully funded. So to apply, so I haven't applied to schools in the US. I applied to U of Utah. I applied to Rochester University. I applied to Colorado University because the application fee was waived. So for the disclaimer, I have never paid an application fee in my life.
Hell.
So that does not apply for everybody. But to tell you that, if you don't have money, you can do a lot of things. And when I was applying for scholarships, I never had a laptop. So my first laptop is this one I'm using now, and I got it in Canada. That's my first ever laptop that I own. For scholarships, I was using an itel 15, 16 plus thereabout. So I had friends. So I had beautiful friends, and I still love them to date. And one of those friends is Abiodun. Wherever you are, thank you very much. You've been very useful. So what I did was I would use my phone and type the SOP haphazardly, capitally, and I send it to her, and then she helps me to arrange, format, and edit. Or I go to her house and I use a system to do that. So I did all applications. When I say all, I mean all applications. So regardless of what so I see people complaining that I don't have money for GRE, I didn't write GRE. I don't have money for IELTS, I didn't write IELTS. I don't have money for whatever complaints you have. So at photo, for instance, in my school, they don't give student transcripts. So I said this before. So what I did was I had a friend, his name was Obudi. So I asked him, please show me your transcript that you used. The one that you used, he showed me. I made a Word document of the transcript exactly. I don't know how I did it, but it was crazy. But I made it. And then I knew my grades. I filled in my grades. I gave it to my class advisor to sign. And I took it to a court and I notarized it. I scanned it as a PDF.
Wow.
That's the transcript that took me to UBC. So regardless of whatever complaints that you have, people have done incredible legal, legit things to get to where they are today. So I do not think that you have any reason to say I don't have, even if you have a low CGPA, I have seen people who have low CGPAs. Just realize that with your low CGPA, you have other things you have to do. So scholarship applications are not holistic. And they're holistic rather. They're not just like one-sided. Number two, scholarships are not for you can't win no scholarships. So just realize that you can't win no scholarships. You realize that there are scholarships that are meant, for instance, like if you want to apply for Chevening does not really consider your grades technically. They don't care about it. They care about your leadership skills, what you've really done. So just realize that at the level I am with my profile, what scholarships can I get? There's several scholarships. There's scholarship, Netherlands scholarships, Czech Republic government scholarships, Poland scholarships, several scholarships, everywhere, name it. So if you can get Mastercard, for instance, you can also get other scholarships and then translate to any country that you want. So the goal is to make sure that you get an education that is funded. So one of the reasons why I come to like social media to talk about these things are because I want you to get an education that is funded. Even if your father is rich, we want you to compete at the level and feel that you're a great student. Because every time you're getting money to you feel that, oh man, there's something about me that is unique, and you try to want to do more. And even if you're studying right now and you're paying for your studies, realize that doesn't mean that you're less of a student. It means that you didn't know that there were opportunities like that. Yeah. Now that you know, going forward, you can look for other opportunities that will make you feel like a great student. The word scholarship does not really mean that you're a scholar. It just means that you just know one or two things that a few people do not know. And that's why Aladi is here doing these interviews with everybody that she can't find, so that you guys will get all the information that's possible, I guess.
Wow, I wish I had this information. I would have been cruising and not be doing this kind of hard work now that I'm doing.
But you're cruising now.
Which cruise are they cruise? My face looks like person when they cruise.
your face has algorithms and codes.
No, so wow. As in, like, I'm speechless. Kai. Information is power. Like, I didn't know these things. Even I still didn't, because when I started hearing about Mastercard, Chevening and everything, I was already here, like, and I wish I kind of knew. Yeah, I know these things, Ni. Somebody that I not even really know about you. That be that.
But you got funding now.
But it's not full funding now, and we are still doing TA to how.
I'm supposed to start a PhD next year September, but like, so that's something that will happen to everybody if you're doing a PhD or something. Like, so I'm spoiled. Like, Mastercard has spoiled me. I don't understand how to do it.
Yeah, you are doing it. Congratulations!
But yeah,
congrats. Where are you heading to? Or is still a secret?
I've been working since 2019. I work
like, where are you heading to? Like, for your PhD?
Or
it's still a secret?
No, it's supposed to be in Carlton because I published a paper with him recently at Royal Society of Chemistry. So it's in Canada. Canada is my home.
Oh shit!
No, my good. Canada is my home. It's my house. So if you hear my name, you'll be like some Dr. Samuel with the Nigerian Canadian. That's the kind of target.
Is it UBC?
Well, UBC, I don't think so. It's somewhere in Ontario. So okay. I'll update that when.
Okay, we'll follow you. We are following you, bomba to bomba.
Keep following me. It's following you too.
Hey, yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
Is your PhD okay? Let's not ask too much questions.
No, you can
I wanted to ask, like, what area are you going to be?
Oh yeah, so my PhD is still in food chemistry, basically.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Is there anything special you want to tell us? Because I feel like your story was just interesting. You kind of answered all my questions inside of them.
Well, so anything special? Yeah. So the thing special is for people that have a first class. Do not feel that you're overqualified, or do not feel that if you have scholarships you get. I'm saying this because I've gotten chats from a lot of people and I have 4.8 and I cannot get. Well, like I said, scholarship is holistic. There are a lot of things that you need to consider. For others that have a tutu, for instance, particularly a tutu, I will say this for you. Canada will not accept you for a master's degree. I know that hurts, but I'm sorry to say that. But there's a country that I know that will accept you, and that country is where Aladi is. The US will accept you. So the US will accept you if you do like GRE, have a great score, and all that. Also, you can also do a WES evaluation. So a WES evaluation can convert your low CGPA technically to a reasonably strong one. And I'm sure that, so I've not tried it before, but I'm guessing that if you have a 2.2 in Nigeria, like 3.4-ish, and you do a WES evaluation that takes it to 3.6, you can even use that WES evaluation to apply for schools in Canada, since WES evaluation shows that you have a 2.1. Like I said, I have not tried it before. I've not seen who tried it, but my instincts tell me that that can work because Canada and US would respect WES evaluation. So even if you're from Akoh, wherever you're from, Akoh school, and they can't verify the strength of it, they will verify the strength of WES. So WES evaluation is something that you should consider to do. So if you feel you have a low grade and you're feeling that that's a deterrent, I would recommend that you consider doing WES evaluation. I also recommend that if you want to get CAs in the US, probably GRE and TOEFL should be something you should think about, regardless. I know some schools are waiving GRE, but always consult the department and see if, without those things, if you can do TA. Now, remember that my goal, again, is to ensure that everybody gets some form of financial support while they're studying, because really, studying and working isn't that great, isn't that great, really. So I recommend that you do that. I also recommend that you reach out for help. Reach out for people to review your essays, to review your CVs. But consider that we are human beings too. We have families, we have lovers, we have church activities, we have a lot of things that we do. So if we give you all our time, we'll just die. So give us, some days ahead to breathe and then help you do it. But of course, reach out to a lot of people, not just one person. Please follow Aladi, like I said, follow Ijesha Canadian, follow me, follow Ahmed, follow Samuel Ajayi on Twitter, follow all these guys, follow Moments with Ben. I can't overemphasize that. Moments with Ben is such a great person to follow. Follow Rita Oji, and follow people that really would help you, because the scholarship journey needs so much patience, so much motivation. And if you try the first year, if you don't get, please don't kill yourself. Don't lose focus. The only reason why you will not try is if you're earning 500K in Nigeria, then you can stay back. But if you're not earning that money, man, if you study all these courses like chemistry, like I study, chemistry that your likely destiny is secondary school.
Please don't just say Nigeria. We have other African and other countries watching us.
Okay, wherever you're watching from, if you know that your course is not in the tech space, technically,
you are not doing medicine and surgery.
You're not doing
law and engineering.
No, law join us now.
I heard so.
No, they have joined us now. Law is not it's not Ivy League course again. Law join us. So leave law. Law is now our family member. So if you're studying all this kind of courses, that you know that even if you get a job in your field, it will not be above 150. That's your killer. So please find a way to go. And the fact is that masters is enough for you to have a good career. If you come here and do masters, if you go abroad to do masters, you can have a great career. Like you don't need to do a PhD really. But I think I'll do a PhD if I get a job, in the like 80K. When PhD for my kids, maybe. We live the PhD. I'm really for money, But yeah, but they said you have passion. Well, I'm a number boy, so my passion is in my pocket, technically. But just realize that the race for scholarship is becoming more competitive than it was in my time. So the essay I wrote that got me Mastercard, if I read that essay now for Mastercard, I won't get Mastercard anymore, because as the awareness becomes more, the competition increases.
Yeah,
so we're competing with a lot of intelligent and informed scholars. So try as much as possible to watch as many videos as you can watch on this channel to stay informed. This is my part of the story. Some other scholars would come on this channel as well and say some things that are contrasting. Now, it is your job to watch all of us and try and do everything that we say. So how it works is that, for instance, when you do a math equation, you see A plus B minus C over Z equals to E. What it means is that you have to try addition, try subtraction, try multiplication, try division, just to get to a final result. So what might be perfect for some other persons, it might not be perfect for you. What some other person say might be perfect for you and not for others. So try and listen to everybody, try and collate what is most important to you as regards to, for instance, if you have a first class, you know that the scholarship chances are higher, technically. So what you have to do is to improve on other areas. If you have a 2-1, you know your scholarship based on grade are lower. So you have to see how you can get Jerry, have a higher score, do volunteering, improve your CV, get your experience. So all of those things put together. No, don't compare yourself. For instance, if you have a 3.8, don't work as hard as someone has a 4.8. You're just deceiving yourself, because there's a chance that if they consider a few things, the person might be luckier. But if you have a 3.8, try and get your experience, try and volunteer as much as you can, publish if you can publish, write blogs if you can write blogs, work for NGOs, top NGOs that can work for top people that they have online presence that can give you a recommendation letter. Let's assume, for instance, you worked in somewhere like the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research in Yaba, and the head of the institute writes a reference letter for you for any scholarship. That guy, most people in that field will know him all over the world for sure. So that scholarship, that reference is of higher value than me, that one doctor that does not even have, that was to publish in Anambra State Journal, write a reference for. So at the reference level, and I want to say this, reference letters and essays are seemingly the two most important, in my opinion, because those two things, you can change them. You can't change your grade, really. You can't change your GRE score, but you can always improve on your essays and your references.
You can improve GRE too now.
Yeah, of course you can improve GRE.
But with more money and time.
With more money and time. But those essay and reference with phone call, you can improve reference with phone call. If you're studying in the West, if you can't meet this lecture and take them to an Amala joint, or take them to Nkobi joint, ACU joint, your reference can change shape. So consider improving your essays and your references. Those things are really important. They're really important for you, because those things are really, I feel those things are things that really now, because most people have good grades now. So this is how it works. Reference letter is like, this is how it works. It's like you want to date Aladi, and then you now ask a friend, Aladi, is she good? Is she good? Does she do well? And then you go, Aladi is good, she's awesome, she's that. You don't want to think about Aladi as something like you already, this Aladi is great. Even with Aladi, you already have, and you're already excited in the Aladi, because you've seen someone who is Aladi that has said great things about Aladi. That's what reference letters does. When they give you a good reference, what it does is it already presents you as an ideal candidate for somebody. Like if you feel like this person is great, so they don't have to. So when they even see you, there's already a positive mindset about who you are. So whatever you do, just adds to it. But if you get a reference like, I've known Aladi since 6 years, she's just there, she doesn't find trouble, she doesn't disturb you. It's different from Aladi's. Wow, Aladi's great. Aladi is the best thing that can happen to you. She can go, she can do it. So that's how the reference letter sounds. The same way you guys hype people's business. Come on, buy my business, or come on, buy my fabrics. The same way you hype stuff, that's the same way your reference letter should hype you. So think about that. It's really important, because having stayed in Canada, I know that reference letters or recommendations really go a long way. Those things you call connection in Nigeria, it's called recommendation. It's called references. So if you get a powerful reference already, you're likely going to get the placement, because everybody will come with a 2-1 or first class, technically.
Yeah.
So everybody will come with a stellar CV. In fact, if I write that I did CV in any place, if I worked in any place, you can't verify if it's true or false. Nobody has time to be googling Aladi works in Google. Nobody has time to do that. But your reference letter is something that really can communicate, especially what it says. And I recommend that people write reference letters alongside what is in their CV. So that when they bring your documents, they don't see that you did IT in like Google, and someone is writing the reference that is working in tobacco, is working in tobacco plant. Like there is no, so remember that applications are like they are holistic. So this is so an application show your time frame in life. So let's say I went to photo and I went to UBC and I'm writing a reference, and I'm writing somebody a reference to somebody in at the University of Calgary. How did it meet? There's the interjection. So it's likely not going to show in the application.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my recommendation. It's not a fact. It's just my recommendation. So I feel that you should use references around what is around your application, what is in your CV. You know, if you want to use a reference that's not in your CV, then change your CV to technically show where the reference is coming from. You can't just write the reference that's off, you know, nowhere and all that. So I think that's my last words for everybody. And I wish you the best. I pray that you get scholarships technically. And if you don't get, if I don't have money to send you abroad.
I mean, may the day break. I've learned a lot from this. Let me go and be telling my brethren at home, or my sisters and brothers, let them start shining their eyes. Oh. Thank you so much. Like, thank you so much for coming. And yeah, I am really, 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 really grateful. Thank you for sparing us your time. We're not celebrity. Thank you, son.
Thank you. Like I didn't know that you had such a wonderful gap tooth. So I think I like it. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Really
you,
pleasure.
Professor, tell you get. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please, you know, welcome our guest, as you know, welcome him. It's not easy to bring a celebrity to this channel, eh? I people should subscribe to my channel. Check the description box. I'll put the link to their accounts and everything. Follow him because he's always posting things, and everyone. You know, sometimes he also posts cute pictures too, so you can follow for the pictures too. He will show you Canada. So no go kill yourself. Thank you so much, Samuel.